if you take away the face and the name, it's just a body. He uses his body a certain way, and I use my shit a certain way. Now let's see what you want to do with that.
Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now.
Marquel, October 10th, Contender Series. When they gave you that contract, man, what were the emotions like for you?
I mean, I think it was a lot of gratitude just for being put in that situation. Um, but I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I don't feel any sort of way. I think I'll feel the sort of way when I get to the UFC, and even then, I think I put such high expectations on myself. I won't be satisfied till I get the ultimate goal, till I go get a belt. But I think gratitude overall.
You just feel like it's a step. That's it. Nothing too big.
Yeah, I think people put so much emphasis on it, and then when they get in there, it's like, okay, the next thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing. But every fight is going to be your biggest fight, right? So I think you go into it and give it a realistic look, like, hey, we got to fight. Let's go accomplish this. Then let's go to the next one.
There you go. And the next one, man, Issa Isakov, 10-2 record. He's pretty much fought mostly for Brave CF. Pretty decent promotion out there in the Middle East. What do you think of him in the skill set?
5'9", stocky body guy, wrestler for sure. Has explosive striking. I mean, he's definitely a good fighter. I know he hasn't fought at 155, so I don't know how that weight cut is gonna be for him. But I think he knows what I came to do, and I know what he's coming to do. So we'll see who implements the game plan better.
Yeah, that's if you break it down simply, that's what fighting is about, right? You have what you want to do, and he has what he wants to do, and whoever does their thing wins the fight, basically.
1,000%. I think people put so much emphasis on names and like who they train with and like all the things around them besides the fighter. Like if you take away the face and the name, it's just a body. He uses his body a certain way, and I use my shit a certain way. Now let's see what you want to do with that.
Yeah, in reality, it's like that. But with fighting and promotion, you have to have who you trained with and what did you do new. You know what I mean? It's all part of just hyping up the fight and expecting greatness. That's what a lot of fans expect. Even at the Contender Series level, there's expectations because you have this opportunity, right?
Yeah, 100%. I do feel. I feel that way for sure. I feel like there's expectations on anything where you're put in the spotlight, especially nowadays, because people have such high expectations for the smallest things. Like when you make a post on Instagram, that shit better be the best post you ever made, or you're gonna get clowned by your boys the next time you see them. So when you have like something with actual purpose behind it, then the expectations become more. And I mean, that's just how it goes, right?
Exactly. You put it exactly right. And earlier you mentioned Isakov not fighting at lightweight for a long time, and I look back, and the last time he made lightweight was 2020.
Speaking of, that fight wasn't even that lightweight. I looked that fight up. He was actually that fight. He was at like 84 kilos, which is like 185. So yeah, he was. It was actually. I think they just put it wrong in Tapology. So he's a big boy. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, I haven't seen him in person, but I'm sure if you walking around fighting everybody 170, 165, you're not a small guy. So
Yeah, to me it's interesting that he wants to take this fight at lightweight. You know what I mean? Like he hasn't fought at that weight. Maybe he knows something we don't know, but
that boy
you
probably
know.
got some good juice or something. But he gonna hit, the first fight is gonna be him in that damn tub. That's gonna be the first fight. Him in that sauna. But we'll see
There you
how it goes.
go. There you go. And when you do go back and watch some of his fights, man, does anything stick out about him?
I think his I mean his big things are his cage wrestling and his ground control. I think he's super patient on the ground. I mean, it's that Russian style. I don't know. I don't even know if he is Russian. I think he is Russian, but it's that Russian style that get on top of you. I'm gonna maul you and not let you get up, and then when you get up, I'm gonna do it again. So I think his wrestling is something that stands out, which I don't care too much for. My main training partner is probably one of the best wrestlers I know in the world. Whenever he wrestles in the gym, not even many people can even take him down. So, and we have great guys like that all around. So I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah, let's talk about the team Factory X. How did you end up with Factory X? Because I know at Factory X, there's somewhat of a close knit team. You know what I mean? Like they just don't
Mhm.
let anybody in.
My well, how I ended up there, I was training at this gym. I was like, it was me, maybe like three other people. I was sparring girls. It was just crazy. I started. It was a smaller gym, and then the
Mm,
jujitsu coach at the gym, he was like, if you want to take this somewhere further, this is not the gym. You need to go either check out Elevation, which you know is big out here, and
mhm,
or go check out Factory X. And I went to go. I actually googled up like some MMA gear, and they had a side where they used to sell MMA gear at. And I went in there, and Chris Camoli and Mark were doing like a private session in the morning. And the dude at the time who used to run the clothing thing was Jordan Tony. He was like, "Yeah, you can't go in there. That's protein." And I was like, "Oh, cool." So I went and checked out Factory X, and that's where I've been ever since. I started in the open classes, moved my way up to the fight team, and then that's all I know is Factory X, really.
Damn, you started with the open classes, just regular classes, and you made it all the way to the pro team.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I don't know. I used to get a lot of street fights, but I mean that's not the same. But Coach Mark knew I had some talent. I remember how I got on the fight team. So it was Mark used to teach the classes on Saturday, and we used to all spar. So
mm,
it was kind of like an open mat, but with kickboxing.
mm.
So he was like, one day he grabs me, he's like, "Hey, let's go with me," and I'm like, "Hell yeah!" I finally get to spar Mark. He waxed my ass, and he's like, "Yeah, I just wanted to see if you had heart, man. I know you want to be on the fight team. Show up here on Monday." I'm like, "Fuck, bro, you just gonna beat my ass and then tell me to come on Monday?" But after that, I got on the fight team, and yeah, ever since then, that's how it's been rolling.
Yeah, man. The experience of getting your ass beat by a coach is it's different. I feel.
Man, it's because I think it's also too because when you don't know, I mean, not even that you don't know any better, but you see these guys and you see they're a leader of men, so you put them on a pedestal.
Mm.
And then for him to come and do that, it's like, okay, he really is what
Yeah.
everybody says he is. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of places, not as much nowadays, but especially back then, where people run gyms and there are a lot of bullshitters. But when you know the guy who's teaching you knows some shit, then it's like, okay,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. There's a different level of trust that you have for someone like that, right? And also a coach that has fought as well. There's
Mhm.
some different respect to that as well as right. That's what some people tell me.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, you said you train, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, what do you train? Mostly jujitsu.
No, I stopped training jiu-jitsu. And now I
Okay.
do mostly like striking, like Muay Thai,
Okay, so yeah, like
kickboxing.
if you were to go to the gym and then you went up and beat your Thai coach, you'd be like, "Why the hell am I at this gym? I'm the best guy at the gym. I'm beating up the coach. Let me teach class." So of course it sets a precedent, and then you always chase that. And then I think every goal as a coach, or should be, is for your students to surpass you.
Mm.
So I think it sets the bar, and then you try to chase it, then surpass it.
Man, this year you've been pretty damn active, man. You've been doing your thing, and how do you feel about how the year's going so far? You know, and especially you've been able to avoid injury as well, like major injury, because you've been fighting every 2 months.
Uh, Man, that's been a great feeling. The game plan. I know you know Jason. You know Jason House, right?
Yes.
So at the end of the last year, I was 4-1, and the game plan was to go out, fight January, fight February, fight March, and hopefully get a or January and February, and then hopefully get a short notice or get a contender call. But at the beginning of the year, I had two fights fall out back to back. Then I fought a short notice on Tracy Reeder on a week's notice. I got scheduled to Michael Murphy, and then I fought my last fight on a week's notice. So it's just been back to back to back, and I think how they've been going is a result of me just staying in the gym and chasing growth. I think that's a big thing. Not chasing wins in the gym, but chasing growth. And if you're always growing, the wins come as a compliment. You know.
Yeah, and you only have one loss as a professional, a split decision loss back in 2022. How did that impact you?
Man, I think I was on my high horse thing just because I had a lot. I took a 3 fight loss streak as an amateur. Um, I remember my pops had passed around that time, but I had took a 3 fight loss streak. That kind of humbled me because I had so much hype as an amateur. And then I think I kind of went back into it as soon as I started winning again. So I think that loss humbled me. Like, bro, you need to lock in. You're not as good as you think you are. You know what I mean? A whole,
Mhm.
I asked for to humble you for sure, but it'll also teach you.
Oh yeah, for sure, man, for sure. And after that, man, you've ran the table, and for this training camp, you know, what I mean, like, has there been anything extra for you, or is it just business as usual?
I mean, there's always extra, but it's nothing crazy because I always feel like I train hard as hell. I think just getting the right training partners, getting the right looks, and honing in on certain things, adding to my skill set. Because I do feel like when people get an opponent, they focus so much on the other opponent that their only thing is to defend what they have. And then if they can't defend what they have, the game is pretty much done. You also have to add to your own toolbox and make them feel like a threat. Make yourself feel like a threat to them. So I'm doing those things as well.
Yeah, without a doubt. And what do you envision, man, for this fight coming up? Like, what do you want to do? Dana White is there, Sean Shelby is there. The whole routine.
I envision putting another man to sleep. I don't see it any other way. Uh, I know what I can do. I know I have power, and I mean if it needs to go anywhere else, it will. But I do see my hand getting raised, my knockout.
Have you been watching the Contender Series?
Yeah, of course, of course. I feel like people who don't watch fights are a little crazy, but yeah, I watch all of them.
And how do you feel like when you're watching it? Because you're gonna be there in a couple of weeks. It's like,
Uh, I don't feel any type of way about it. I'm like cool. Like, hey, did you watch this? I like watching and seeing what the upcoming competition would look like. You know, I look at it from that aspect rather than like, man, I'm about to be here because I know I'm gonna be there. It's no point in me getting nervous. Why? If I'm getting nervous about Contender Series, the UFC is gonna be a whole nother level.
mm,
So I just look at it from a perspective of, all right, who's coming up? What do they do? What do they like to do? And also take it a little bit of lessons from that as well. I'm a thinker. I'm not necessarily just a guy who goes out and relies on talent. I like to use a lot of IQ shit. So I like to see what other people doing as well and add a little shit to my game.
yeah, man. And did you see that one, the woman, right? She won, I think, last week, and then she's the only one that won and never didn't get a contract this season.
Oh
But
yeah, this
then
shit got signed.
she got signed. I was like, a little trickery behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's a little weird. I always think about that because my girl, she always asks, she's like, "Well, what if you win and you don't get a contract?" I'm like, "Bro, quit being so negative, first of all." But I don't know. Yeah, that's the crazy part about Contender Series. It's like you can go out and put your heart on the line, give your best performance today, and be like, well, you know, buddy, this kid didn't have it. He didn't have what I thought. You know what I mean? That's the crazy
yeah,
part about Contender Series. But I mean, shit, if it happens, it happens. I'm not here to do anything but do my job. And if I put him to sleep like I plan to do, then it'll get a contract for sure.
yeah, without a doubt, man. Anyways, October 10th, man, Contender Series, UFC Apex. Markel will be back in action. Thank you so much, man, for the time, and hopefully the next one we do, you'll be making your UFC debut.
Yeah, sir. Hey, say it one more time. No.
All
Hell yeah.